Hello, it's the kidney episode. So let's hop into it. Blanche is flittering around the house like a gnat. She is running to and fro, like dusting. She won't let Dorothy and Rose sit down. Nothing. She is cleaning for her life. She wished she had gotten a decorator. Nancy Reagan's decorator. That always sends me. But no, her sister is coming to town. Virginia will be here directly, very soon, and Rose is like, why are you doing all this for your sister? And Blanche is like, because I hate my sister. And honestly, if I hated my sister, she wouldn't come stay with me, but that's just me. Rose doesn't understand the concept of hating your sibling because, she grew up a partridge or something. I don't know. But Blanche doesn't like her sister. She says her sister made her miserable as a child. Her and their other sister, Charmaine. Virginia is this sister's name. She made them so miserable. She lit Blanche on fire, damn near. She she bit herself and ran to Big Daddy and told him that Blanche did it. Just all sorts of little stuff that she kept doing to bother this woman, this girl at the time. And it's just like, why are you so evil? But outside of being evil, they are now grown. And I'm assuming if Blanche is like 55-ish, Virginia's 50. So, even though she did look like she was right there with Blanche. They said she was her younger sister. But she looked up there with Blanche. Mm, I don't know. And I believe the diva that plays Virginia, I believe she was up there with the character Blanche, not Rue McClanahan, because Rue was the youngest. But Cherie North played Virginia, and we'll get to her in a moment. I believe she was a little bit closer to Blanche's age. But anyway, um, Dorothy burst in the house with a baby, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, a baby!" Except Blanche, who was like, "Oh my God, a baby!" Blanche is like, "Get that nasty thing out of my house!" And they don't get the nasty thing out of her house. They give us a quick shot of a random red-headed baby who looked like Opie from the Andy Griffith Show, and we are expected to believe that this baby is here and will be here for the duration of the episode. And that's pretty much what happens. The baby is the B storyline, so we'll come back to the baby. But what's next? I'm actually reading my notes today because I watched the episode like 3 or 4 days ago. I know the episode, but I don't want to forget anything, so bear with me. Oh, Virginia arrives, of course. And Blanche is rude to her. And she gives, standard sister, instead of you're fat, you look like you've lost a little weight, sugar. So she's saying her sister is skinnier, but she's saying the loose skin just hangs there like leaves on a willow. She sends me so bad. I love Blanche. That's my favorite character and always has been. And if you know me as a person, you can tell. But Virginia is trying to be nice. And I can't tell why. The whole episode I couldn't tell Virginia's motives. But Blanche is upset just by having a sister. So she's rude to her. And I would be a little jealous too, because it gives jealousy. I would be jealous too because Virginia is played by Cherie North, who, if you know anything about old Hollywood, she was the answer to Marilyn Monroe. She was who was it MGM at the time? Not Lionsgate, Lionsgate, please. Paramount, I think, called in Cherie North to basically punish Marilyn Monroe to get her to submit to be like, oh look, we got this new young tender baddie, and she gonna take your place if you don't act right. And Marilyn was like, okay, give it to her, whatever, because Marilyn didn't care like that. Be so for real. Um, but yeah, Cherie North was the bombshell back in the day. So I would be a little jealous too, a little nervous as well. But excuse me, back at the B storyline, the baby is crying. And Rose says it's colic and to give the baby brandy because she gave it to her own children. And Sophia and Dorothy are like, brandy? No, you give the baby Monica. I kid. I slapped my knee because that was funny. But no, she was like, no, you give the baby, what did they say for colic? They say you give the baby brandy for teething, and I don't remember what they said for colic, but it's not brandy. And Rose is like, oh, I gave it to my babies for colic in their bottles. My babies were very happy. And it's just like, I love how if that wasn't the joke, that line would not have made any sense. Just randomly, my babies were very happy. That wouldn't have made, if you were like, yeah, I gave my babies, milk in their bottles when they were hungry. My babies were very happy. Like, it would not have made the joke. But because she was giving these babies liquor, the joke lands, and I love it. Um, but yes, I feel like, oh, maybe they shouldn't have gave Rose no kids. Cause look how Kirsten turned out. We're gonna get to Kirsten after a while. She's terrible. Um, but Rose is like talking about how they now have baby wipes that pop up on their own and they're pre-moistened. And back in the day, you used to have to get fish ointment and rags. And Sophia says back in Sicily, you'd have a river and a leaf. I'm sorry, y'all. Of course, I'm sniffing. Um, and Dorothy says you never had a baby in Sicily. Sophia says I was a baby in Sicily, and it sends me every time. Like I be down. But yeah, they're talking about, oh, we have these and this now. This is so interesting, and disposable bottles and pre-made formula. I'm like, y'all are marveling at the wonders of plastic, and y'all don't even know the earth will be polluted in approximately 20 years. 20 years. Actually, 10 years from this episode, Al Gore is going to be like, hey, everyone, please. And then nobody listen to Al Gore. Now look at us. We're about to lose the earth. Anyway, we got 4 years until no return. And nobody wants to fix it. They just want us to go down. Okay. Um, Maybe I'll do a fast and pray for the earth because I really worry. Like I sit up at night worrying about the earth sometimes. Cause what? What did the people do to the earth? She is dying. Michael Jackson tried to sing about it. Anyway, um, we find out that Virginia stole Blanche's man. She went off, I guess, to college. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm not gonna lie to you because I was paying more attention to what happened rather than how it happened. But Virginia stole her husband, Tom, from Blanche. And Virginia's like, you only went on 2 dates with him. Blanche says I was fast, which we all know to be the truth. But whether she went on 2 dates with him or not, that's your sister's man. Why did you steal your sister's man, marry him, and then have her be one of the bridesmaids? Like, that's so foul. And then Virginia gonna act like that wasn't, she's surprised that Blanche is upset about this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. But anywho, um, in the meantime, in the restaurant, there are black people in the background. Yay! Just bits and pieces of representation. Um, Virginia says if it makes Blanche feel any better, Tom fooled around on her. Blanche, she starts by saying it doesn't, and then she says, with who? Because she wants the tea. And honestly, yes. And then Blanche asks again, because she's been saying this whole time, Virginia wants something, Virginia wants something, Virginia wants something. We find out Virginia does want something, a kidney. But she starts by saying, I'm dying, Blanche. And then the camera zooms in, and Blanche says, well, that explains it. Why you look so much older than I do. Because Blanche is so self-centered. And again, if you know me in real life, you know that's how I maneuver in my own personal life. But back at the B storyline, Blanche comes home, but Rose, she runs to put the baby in the bedroom. That's the part of the B storyline. I really didn't have to say back at the B storyline because the storylines collide. But Rose, she runs to put the baby in the bedroom while Blanche is telling Dorothy and Sophia that her sister is dying. So she says she's dying. Um, Rose comes in and says, hey, what did I miss? Sophia points to Blanche and says, dying, she's dying. Rose says, oh my God, Blanche, I didn't even know you were sick, honey. It gets me every time because of the concern. Betty White played that so well. So well. Like, Betty White, consummate performer. Rest in peace to all of the ladies, but Betty, that was a class act right there. Um, and then Blanche is saying, like, and she still wanted something from me. Dorothy snaps. Dorothy has this thing about her where she just all of a sudden get to yelling at folk. Couldn't be my roommate. Couldn't be. I'd be cutting the cheesecake and accidentally cut Dorothy. Because why are you yelling at me? Because Blanche says, and she still wanted something. And Dorothy says, enough already, Blanche. What could she possibly have wanted from you? The woman is dying. And Blanche, of course, on our way to commercial says, my kidney. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Like, it goes to commercial, it plays that sad, one of them little orchestral sad moments to commercial. Um, and when it returns, of course, they play the sad returning music. And Blanche says she needs to eat, so she goes in the kitchen. What am I, Brittany Murphy in Girl Interrupted, where she can't get chicken and kitchen straight? When she says she gotta eat in chicken instead of eat in kitchen. What am I? Am I her? Anyway, Blanche goes into the kitchen and pulls out chicken, grapes, a pot pie, other assorted things. And I'm like, what is she planning to do with this food? Nothing. She pulls all this. It's just somebody driving by. It's literally just somebody driving by. And here go my dogs. Anyway, um, I forgot where I was, child. Blanche pulls out all this food. Yeah. And she pulls out all this food and then she's like, I just can't eat, and leaves for the rest of the women to put the food away. Like, that's the part about me that's not like Blanche. I would never do that. That's foul, girl. Put your stuff away. We skip ahead to what seems to be the next day or maybe a few days, and Blanche and Virginia are having coffee. Sophia bursts into the room and is like, so are you gonna give her the kidney or what? It was a terrible accent, but the way Sophia says her instead of her gets me every time. Um, Blanche says or Virginia says Blanche has to think about it. And Sophia's like, I would hate to have you as my sister. And it's like, we're going to get to Angela in a while. you don't like your sister either. Like you you wanted her pasta to stick together. Like you don't like her, or was that Angela? I think Angela wanted that of Sophia. Anyway, the point remains: you don't like your sister, and that's just that on that. Let me see. Yeah, Sophia says, if you can't count on family, then what can you count on? And one person in the audience tries to start the clap. They clap with all their might, like twice, and then they're like, "Oh, we're not clapping." Ooh, I would have been so embarrassed. I would have left, but that's just me. Um, Virginia says she would understand if Blanche decides not to give her the kidney. And Blanche says, "Well, why didn't you ask Charmaine?" And apparently Charmaine has conjoined kidneys and a host of other things, a tipped uterus, and child, it's too much going on with her. She can't give the kidney. She got one big kidney. Um, and, and Virginia, I keep wanting to say Cherie North. Virginia says, this is a tough decision and she's not sure what choice she would make. And Blanche is like, are you saying you won't give me a kid? You wouldn't give me a kidney? Virginia is like, I don't know. And Blanche says she's a size 8. There's not room in my body for your kidney. She's so mean. Because there isn't room. There's not room enough in my body for a big boned kidney. I'm so sorry to let you know I can't take your kidney. I'm too thin. I'm svelte. Like, that's so mean. Anyway, um, Blanche eventually decides to give her sister the kidney, and says she wants to have a relationship with her sister. She wants to get to know her. They're adults, and let's be family now. But I guess that was short lived because we don't see Virginia no more. We barely hear her talk about Virginia for the rest of the series. So hey, um, but Blanche goes down to Atlanta to give the kidney, and they're not expecting her back for quite a while. But she returns, and she's fine, and she's just chipper, and she's like, well, how fortuitous for Blanche. Like the writers just threw her a bone here because Blanche is so vain that the writers had to give her something this episode. Blanche could not give her sister the kidney because her blood vessels were too small. And she's always been very petite. Like, it sends me so badly because you telling everybody all this time how this kidney not gonna fit in your body, you can't take her kidney. Now you can't give her your kidney because your body too petite. Girl, work, I guess. But the sister, Miss Virginia, ends up with a kidney. Now, this is not how the transplant list works, but hey, um, Miss Virginia ends up with a Mormon school teacher's kidney. Sorry, y'all. My sinuses, my allergies, everything is just awry. But yeah, she ends up with a Mormon school teacher's kidney. Blanche says it's showroom new, and the wildest thing that's passed through there is Ovaltine. So it works out. Blanche is skinny, and Virginia has a kidney. The end. That's the episode. Oh, they come back. The mom and dad to wrap up the B storyline. The mom and dad come back for the baby, and they tell the women that they can have them again next month when they go for a vacation. So hooray! That's it. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things the YouTubers say, and I'll catch y'all in that next one. Bye.